4-litre naturally aspirated flat 6. 414 horsepower. 0 to 60, 4.2 seconds, and rear wheel drive. This is the brand new 718 Boxster Spyder. So there's been a few different Boxster Spyders. This is the latest one, the 718 Boxster Spyder, and well, it's basically a GT4, unlike the other generations. And there's only a few differences actually from this to the GT4. One is the slightly shorter front splitter at the front. Two is the ducktail spoiler that you get on the Spyder, whereas of course on the GT4 you'd have a full wing at the back. And three, of course, this, the roof, the convertible roof, which in the lovely English summer, we're not quite there yet, it's the end of February, I'm sure we'll get to enjoy a bit more than today. I mean, we've got probably 5 minutes without any rain, so we'll probably drop that in a second and go for a bit of a spin. But that's near enough it. The wheels are the same as the GT4, the interior is the same as the GT4, and that incredible 4-litre engine is the same as the GT4. I don't know why people call this the baby GT4. It's not, it's a convertible GT4. With that in mind though, let's have a look at one of the biggest differences, the roof. How easy is this to get up and down? First things first, ignition on, and then these fold in and go in here, like so. I don't want to do it wrong because somebody will go, oh, you've completely messed up his roof. Done. That's probably about 1 minute, I guess. So that's how the roof works, and we've put it back up because, well, it's probably going to rain again in a minute. The back of the car, as we come around here, is as stunning as the front, if I'm being completely honest. You've got the two buttresses that you'd find on something like the Speedster. You've got this lovely little spoiler at the back, which does move up and down depending on your speed, or there is a button as well on the interior to raise or lower that. You've got obviously the new Porsche badge in the middle that you'll find across a lot of their latest models. And as we come down to the bottom, the incredible splitter with those two lovely exhaust pipes. Obviously on the previous models, they were in the middle. Now with the new 718 generation, they're slightly further to the side. And I think with that rear splitter, it looks absolutely stunning. There is a little bit of storage underneath here. Let me show you. So just before I show you what's under here, you might have noticed that we've had to pop the two side bits for the roof. And that is because as this whole clamshell piece is one, that is obviously connected to the roof. So you've got to pop those little two bits for the roof. Now you can undo this and show the storage in the back. Now, if you're traveling somewhere with the roof up, then, you know, overnight bags or something that you'll only need to get out of this boot once you get to the destination is absolutely fine. If you're traveling with the roof down, you can pop this back bit whenever you like. Really nice usable space in the back of this. Just before we jump inside the 718 Boxster Spyder, there is of course a bit of storage in the front as well. As you'd expect to find in a Boxster or a Cayman, loads of room in here. This is, I mean, it's plenty. That coupled with what you get in the back, which is, I'd say, an added bonus. So much room for what is technically quite a little car. Right, let's have a look inside. And thanks to the guys at botb.com, they have a dream car winner every single week. You only have to be 16 or older to enter, and it's a worldwide competition. They have over 150 different cars in the lineup that you can win. Tickets start from just 85p. If you play this week, best of luck. And here we are inside the new 718 Boxster Spyder, and the owner of this car has spec'd it perfectly. Crayon on the outside, and you've got these incredible yellow accents on the inside with these incredible yellow seat belts as well. Lovely carbon fibre, and you've got the pull string handles too. Now, the first thing you notice is, well, you could be in a GT4, you could be in a Cayman, you could be in a Boxster. There's not a huge amount of difference. These racing seats though, the bucket seats in this, are incredible. I wouldn't want to probably drive around for 5 hours, but they feel so snug and they are so supportive. You feel like you're in a mini little GT car. It's absolutely fantastic. In terms of everything else, well, it's just typical Porsche, really. You've got your touchscreen display here with your controls underneath and then the climate as well. A very important 6-speed manual gearbox, which we'll talk about when we drive it, because this is very special. The driving buttons underneath, which a lot of companies now are sticking inside the entertainment system, but Porsche, very good. Thank you, Porsche. You've basically left it as a button. Auto blip, you've got the suspension, turning it from normal mode into sport mode. ESC off, and ESC and traction control off. Over here, cup holders. I mean, you would have found these in a lot of the older versions, and they're absolutely fantastic. They pop out and then they spring in and out like that. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Porsche haven't fixed it because it's not broken. This is a stunning place to be. I love the steering wheel. Of course, Alcantara. You've got the controls on the right here for the right-hand screen, volume on the left. And of course, if you've got the roof down, people can see the fact it's got Spyder written on the top of the bucket seats. I love it, but we need to get out and take this for a drive because the driving pleasure that this gives you is unbelievable. First though, let's hear how this sounds. Now this has a slightly different exhaust system than standard. This has a Brooks Racing exhaust system, which sounds, well, let's hear it. And that's the big talking point of this car. You've got all of the ingredients to create what should be the perfect soundtrack, what should sound like this Brooks Racing exhaust. But unfortunately, here in the UK, we have our particulate filters, and you just don't get the same pops and the bangs like you used to on the older Boxster and Cayman models. Now, the standard exhaust doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't sound anywhere near as good as it used to, and that's why a lot of owners of the new 718 variant are going and putting exhaust on their car. And I don't blame them. Now, to try and keep the emissions down as well, this car will basically shut down half of its cylinders if it thinks that you're going to be doing some economical driving. And then what it'll do is it'll alternate the two banks of cylinders to make sure that the temperatures stay okay. And this is all because of a big emissions thing. But we do have to save the planet. Now we have to talk about the gearing, because in the older GT4, the gearing was a little bit too long, and sad to say that it's exactly the same in this, but there is a shining light, and that shining light is the fact that this has more torque. So it actually fills this gap, and it doesn't feel anywhere near as bad as the last version did. And talking of the gearbox, this gearbox is amazing. It feels like you're loading a bolt action rifle every single time you change gear. It kind of reminds me of one of the first ever little sports cars I owned, a great little Mark I MX-5. It's got such a notchy, lovely way of changing gear. And just like my older MX-5, when it's cold in the morning, oh, it is a bit of a pig to get into first gear. But once everything's warmed up, it is one of the best gearboxes that I've driven in such a long time. You've also got a little button down here, which I call the hero button. It's called auto blip, which will auto blip for you if you're downshifting through the gearbox. The suspension is derived from the GT3, and even in these country roads where it is very bumpy, it's all right. It's not too bad. These bucket seats make it a little bit more firmer, I can tell you that. But it's okay, and even if you do put it into its sport setting with the dampeners, it's not going to break your back unless you do hit one of these massive potholes that we're trying to avoid whilst driving this around these Surrey country roads. It comes with the Michelin Cup 2 tyre, which a lot of people say is an absolute death trap in the wet, but I've not really had any issues. If you start playing around with this button down here, ESC and TC off, yes, it will slide around to your heart's content, and it is so controllable when it does. It'll do 187 miles an hour, and it'll do that with the roof up or down. There is something so special about this 718 Spyder, and it is the package. I think the best word to describe this car is package. Everything you get creates this incredible driving experience where you'll sit in these buckets and you feel quite low to the ground, and everything is just so direct. There's no play in the steering wheel. It's where you want it, it will basically go. And with that auto blip on downshift, you really do feel like a race car driver. You can heel and tow if you like, just turn the button off. But the driving involvement you get with the new 718 Boxster Spyder, like the last one, is absolutely incredible. You are at one with the car. It's you and the car, and as I mentioned, if you start turning the ESC and TC off, it's literally you in the car. I've not driven something this engaging for a long time. It is so good. What do I think about the 718 Spyder? It is so much fun. Even though I'm full of cold, this has put a huge smile on my face. It reminded me so much of me driving a Mark 1 MX-5 that I supercharged when I was about 18 years old. It is so involving, and that gearbox is stunning. Couple that with the incredible 4-litre normally aspirated flat 6. It is an absolute peach. A huge thanks to Colin, who let us drive this car. He is one very lucky man. If you want to own one, well, it's not technically a limited run car, although the waiting list is rather long. So if you're very good friends with your local Porsche dealer, you may be able to get hold of one. If you do, I'd recommend probably slapping an exhaust on it, getting rid of those PPF filters, which are horrible and really do mute the sound. This Brooks Racing exhaust sounds great on it. And of course, few options. Carbon ceramics I think are fantastic. Mainly though, the bucket seats. They just sit really low and you feel like you're in a little mini race car. It is such a good car to drive. Thanks so much again to BOTB. BOTB.com, they have a dream car winner every single week. You can enter in the link below. As they have a winner every week, you might be next week's winner. They have over 150 cars in the lineup and you only have to be 16 or older to enter, and it's a worldwide competition. Guys, we'll see you very soon on the ITH channel. Bye for now.